This is pardon me?
No, he stabbed me.
What,
his pen.
That pen again?
Yeah.
Well, that's a tattoo.
I think so.
This is the InWheelTime Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we visit with Mary Agrusa with the Savoy Auto Museum. Also, I'll give you my thoughts on driving the 2025 Lincoln Nautilus. And Jeff has the Motor Minute in this segment of the InWheelTime Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. We always need more Jeff Zekin. Chief Engineer David Ainsley sleeping in this morning, but he's with us in thought and spirit. Mm-hmm. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us, and we appreciate you. It's a beautiful Saturday here in the Houston, Texas area where we come to you from around the world. So if you're wondering what in the world is he talking about because the weather's miserable here, it's not miserable here. Yesterday was pretty miserable with big thunderstorms here, but we don't have that today. Lots of sunshine, high temperature this afternoon in the mid-80s. Doesn't get much better than that, my friends. All right. Let's go over to Georgia, Cartersville, Georgia, as a matter of fact. Mary Agrusa with the Savoy Museum. Mary, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Well, we're doing just fine. Thank you very much, and we certainly do appreciate you joining us today.
You know, you talked about having lousy weather yesterday. I think you sent it to us because we got the thunderstorms and it's pouring rain here now.
Yeah.
So it may be beautiful in Houston. It's not so nice in Cartersville.
But I will say this, that it certainly is beautiful at the Savoy Museum.
Oh, have you had a chance to take a sneak peek at who we are?
Yes, I did, as a matter of fact. A very unique kind of museum. I was telling the boys earlier on when we started the show this morning that I thought, a lot of us from here in the Houston area head east from here, right down I-10, head over to the southeast. We go through Mississippi, Alabama, and then we hit Georgia before we hit the East Coast. And, the South is a wonderful place to visit, and especially for Houston families, friends, car lovers, and all. And what a great idea to take a little left-hand turn and head north and get up there to Cartersville, Georgia, and stop at the Savoy Museum.
And the best part about that, it's not just that we have the Savoy, which is, in my opinion, is probably the best museum ever. In the city of Cartersville, we have 3 other museums. And so Cartersville has sort of been designated Museum City for Georgia. We have the Booth Western Art Museum that has the largest permanent collection of Western art in the United States. We have the Telus Science Museum and also the Bartow History Museum. So for people that want to come up and see the cars, and I would highly recommend that you come up to the Savoy, there's also plenty of other things to come and do and see while you're in Cartersville.
Mary, tell me the history about the Savoy Museum.
Okay. This was founded by a family that was in business in Cartersville. And while they were in business, they collected cars and Western art. When they retired out, they started pouring their resources into the community. The first was the Booth Western Art Museum. They took over the Wine and Mineral Museum, made that into the Telus. They took over the local courthouse, made that the Bartow History Museum, and then they built the Savoy. And so while this was being built, this was originally on a piece of farmland, and it's about 30-some acres. And so when it was being built, there were no signs outside in terms of what was going up. And they did a lot of ground prep for about a year, and we were all scratching our heads, what is it? And then the back building that I refer to as the shed, which is now where we store all of our cars, went up, and it was silver and red, and we all thought we're getting a Costco finally. And that was the popular rumor. Of course, when everything started coming up out of the ground, they put the sign up, and that's when we knew it was going to be the car museum. Now, the name itself came from a 1954 Plymouth Savoy that was actually found on the grounds while they were doing the site prep. It belonged to the family that owned the grounds, and interestingly enough, we had a high school principal from Cartersville who came in to visit, and this was her grandparents' property. When she was a young girl, she rode out with her grandmother out to Colorado in that car, so she knew that car when it was brand new. So that's how we wound up with the name. And I'd like to say that we're a little bit different than a lot of car museums, and I visit a lot of car museums. We consider this really more an art museum that is dedicated to the automobile. And so as it gives you some little snapshots of what we look like inside, you'll see that the way that we display our cars is very differently. In fact, I'll switch modes. I'm going to walk over to the Savoy Gallery, but you can walk 360 around all of the cars. If a car happens to have stanchions, that's because the owner of the museum has requested that we do it. Otherwise, we have it set up that you can get up close to the cars. We don't cram them in here. The lighting in the building is designed to make the cars look the best, especially if you're into photography. And so we really try to highlight cars as art. Another thing, I'm in charge of writing all the research for the cars. So when I do the reader boards, on our left-hand side, we will talk about all the technical information about the car, the engine, the transmission, things of that nature. But I have about 150 words that I have to describe the vehicle. And so a lot of times what I really try to look for is there something interesting in the backstory of the car? Is there something historical that is important to this car? Was there a reason why it was brought out? And if it succeeded or if it failed? Maybe the owner, maybe there's a backstory in the car. So that I like to, when people come, if you're not a car fan, and a lot of the people who come who aren't, but they're coming with people who are, they can sit there and read the reader boards, and a lot of them told me, this is something that I didn't expect. I've learned so much because we try to pull in the history of what is going on, really trying to make it something that anyone who's coming in can learn not just about cars, but also about the history of them and the history of, the automobile in general.
Mary, you sound very, very well schooled in museum stuff. Curator, perhaps, in the past. Is that why you brought your skills here?
No, actually, my background, what I'm going to show you right now is this is the Savoy Gallery, and the cars that you'll be seeing right now, these are all cars that we own. No, my background was in graphic design for a number of years. When I retired out of that, I messed around a little bit with day trading, found out that is not my skill. And my husband said, well, why don't you go back to school? Because here in the state of Georgia, if you're a resident, you can go back basically for free. You don't pay tuition. And so I found a school that actually offered a degree in English with an emphasis on writing. That was something that I was interested in learning about, and did that. And then the Savoy opened up and there was a call for volunteers. And so my husband and I both put our names in the hat for that. And when we finally got asked to come, they needed people who would do the tour guides. And so I was all over that. And as it turns out, right now I'm a part-time employee here. I'm also a docent. The person who was doing my part of the job became ill, and she had to retire out. And so they were asking the different docents if we could write about the cars, if we could do the reader boards. And I was like, well, yeah, I can do that. And so I started doing that, and the curator liked my style and the fact that I could write them, research them, and write them fairly quickly, something that he and the other graphic artists wouldn't have to do any longer. And so they said, do you want to come and work here? And I said, yeah, as long as I can still be a part-time guide, because one of the things that I find in terms of being a docent, with interacting with the public, I find out what really resonates with them. And one of the things that I found out is that, yeah, they really like the history of the cars, and not just the gearhead part of it, but also, the background stories of the cars.
Well, I congratulate you. You do an excellent job. Is that the Savoy? Am I looking at the Savoy right there?
Well, this is not the one that we found out in the yard. This is Beatrice, and she is a 59 Plymouth Savoy. Last summer, she was part of the Great Race. Unfortunately, Beatrice got to the fourth day in the mountains of West Virginia and dropped 2 cylinders. And so that was the end of her stint in the Great Race. We are now doing a fundraising campaign. We want to have her ready for 2006. But the better part of that was, even though she failed, we brought a couple of the students in to talk about their, what the experience was like. And we have a local college and career center here that is tied in with one of our technical colleges. And their principal and the head of that class came to the presentation on the Great Race. And now they are looking at this for the next school year, which they're going to be putting a Corvette together. They are talking about entering that in the Great Race, as in the student division. So even though Beatrice didn't, do all that well when she was up and running, she has inspired another school to pick up the challenge and do it also. And my hope is that since this is a county school that is doing it, that one of the city schools will also want to get into doing this. And I think it would be fun to have, in between the city and the county, let's have a little bit of competition. Which school does better at the Great Race? Because it's not about speed, it's all about precision and being there right on time. And so I think it would be great for us to be able to have a little fun competition going between the two schools. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Well, right now what we're in, this is what we call our Great Hall. And this is one of the exhibit areas that will change. Of the 5 exhibit areas that we have, the Savoy Museum, that gallery doesn't change. Or it does a little bit, but not that much. Of the other 4 halls, one of these changes every 30 days. And so this is what's called locally owned. The cars that are here are owned by either members of the museum or friends that live within a pretty close geographic area. And we did this 2 years ago. We found that people really liked it. The owners of the car really like being able to bring their vehicles in and sit here for 4 months and have people ooh and ah over them. And also visitors coming in find out, boy, there's a lot out in those garages around Cartersville that we never would have expected.
Mary, you just showed us a 409 there.
Yeah.
I guess you probably already know about that.
Well, yeah. Well, my favorite part of this is the Beach Boys.
Attraction
409, and this car has it all. But this is one of the anniversary cars that came out in 1962. Which the funny thing was, there was no anniversary edition. I mean, nothing for GM. The anniversary was 1955, and they did a gold-plated Bel Air to celebrate that. But they just put out this car for no one really knows why.
It sounds like our car show. We just make up awards and just put them on there ourselves, just like that. We're award winning. When somebody says, "Well, what award did you win?"
We got a long list of them. We'll get back with you.
Yeah, that's right. We don't know what it is. So that there is a Model T.
This is a Model T, 1925. The backstory on this is when Jay found the car, he found this actually in a general store up in Tennessee. And he collects Model Ts, and in order to buy it, there were 2 stipulations. First, he had to prove that he could drive the car, and second, he had to agree that he would never restore it. So this is, in it to a degree, not necessarily pristine condition, but if you want to see an untouched Model T, that's what we have. And this car will actually celebrate its 100th birthday this month. What we're not sure is whether or not it was built in Atlanta or not. We think that it may have been, but we're not sure about that. But it will turn 100 sometime this month.
Are you going to have a birthday party?
I sure hope so. I'm sort of pushing for it. I've asked for it, but I don't always get what I want. But again, now this car, perfect way of talking about history. We ask people, why do you think the roof of the car is so high? Well, the answer is because men wore hats, especially top hats, and it had to accommodate that. In 1955, Dodge, that was the first year that Dodge actually got rid of their guideline that the roof of the car had to be high enough to accommodate a man wearing a hat. And we also let people know that if you liked back in the day, now you could probably relate to this, when we get our old Weber grill out and we would throw charcoal in there to have a barbecue, well, Kingsford charcoal is right out of Henry Ford. That originally was called Ford charcoal, and then it became Kingsford. And that was the offshoot of he had to find a way to get rid of all the sawdust and the odds and ends of wood, and they invented, charcoal briquettes. Mm-hmm. So we can thank Henry Ford for the backyard barbecue also.
Mary, how many displays do you have in the Savoy?
We run 5 at a time. We have the regular Savoy Gallery. As I said, that stays relatively stable. And then we have the 4 other galleries. One of those changes every 30 days. So this is locally owned, and this is in what's called the Great Hall. This is probably the biggest of all the display spaces that we have. Then we will have 4 other galleries that come off of it. So, for example, we're going to walk into Gallery A, and this is called Splendid Studebakers. And with the exception of the first 2 decades that Studebaker was in existence, we have one car that goes through every decade of Studebaker's existence as a car company. This is the oldest one. This is from the Studebaker factory, the museum. And this is the 1927 limousine with actually a curved glass partition, which when you consider, glass manufacturing at that time, that was a very rare thing to have, but this has a glass partition in between the driver and the passenger. You could get a telephone for the chauffeur. This car is not equipped with that. And then we come all the way to the very end of Studebaker's run, which is the Avante. Very beautiful car, but, why do you put out a car that's for a Corvette market when you're sort of on the brink of bankruptcy? But they did. Beautiful car by Raymond Loewy. But just sometimes I look at Studebaker's management and I go, what were you thinking? I mean, they did some great things, but then they really did some things that were a little bit on the weird side.
Mary, tell us where the Savoy Museum is located. I know it's Cartersville. Where is that?
We are between Chattanooga and Atlanta, right on I-75. We're about midway between those two places. We're right off the highway. We're about 2 miles west once you jump off of 75. And again, there's a lot to do here in the Cartersville area. Besides the museum, we have a really nice downtown area with plenty of places to eat and to shop. We have the Etowah River close by for people who want to do some kayaking, hiking trails. There's just a lot going on in this area. And, of course, it's all the museums that we have here.
Well, Mary, we could talk to you for days on end, I am sure, but it really is very appreciated for you to take the time to join the InWheelTime car family this morning and fill us in about the Savoy Museum. So is there a website we could go to?
Yes, if you go to savoymuseum.org.
Okay.
That will tell you everything about us. It will tell you everything that is on the floor, including what cars are in the exhibits. It will tell you all the upcoming events because we do a monthly movie. We have programs that are tied to every exhibit that we do. And then on September the 6th, we have our car show. And that is all out on the lawn. We'll probably have over 300 cars in the show. And it's just a great time to come down. And if you need an excuse to come to Georgia, we can give you plenty of them.
I'll bring the Corvette and put it on display.
We'll have it for you.
All right, thank you. Mary Agrusa, thank you so much.
Hey, have a great day, guys.
You do the same. Thanks again. What a great venue.
They've got some displays coming up, like there's one for all fiberglass, and it's much more than Corvettes. And we talked about that event that Ken Gross brought to Houston at the museum, that Fine Art Museum, with all the Delahaye's and stuff. So we're gonna pay another visit to her in a month or so when they get.
I might just drive over there.
I think
the InWheelTime Car Talk Show should pay me to drive over there, and I could do reports.
Well, if we're
from
going
there.
to do that, we're just going to take the whole show and go.
Okay, I tell you what. You take the show, and I'll go and have fun. Thank you for that.
I'm busy.
Just ahead, a review of the 2025 Lincoln Nautilus, plus Jeff's Motor Minute after this quick break here on InWheelTime. The Tex-Mex dining experience is defined by Lupi Tortilla, your destination for Texas's best beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. Since 1983, Lupi Tortilla has served authentic and time-tested recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Atmosphere is part of the award-winning experience at Lupi Tortilla, all developed in a little house near Highway 6 and I-10 in West Houston. Visit any of the Lupi Tortillas and you'll see the same attention to detail in each and every location. Start your Lupi experience with queso flammeado and guacamole, along with a classic frozen margarita. Dine on famous Lupi beef and chicken fajitas, or pepper shrimp brochette, or a fish or vegetarian entree, and finish with a scrumptious flan for dessert. Find Lupi Tortilla in Houston, College Station, Beaumont, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a Texas location near you. The recipes are authentic and time-tested. The ingredients always fresh. Lupi Tortilla, he's pretty good. The InWheelTime Car Talk Show thanks you for 14 wonderful years. Yep, our first show aired May 7th, 2011 on a local radio station. Then it was a move to the digital world and social media, and you followed. Thank you. We continue to build and grow our fan base, and it's all because of you and your auto enthusiast friends. We appreciate your support. It's always great to see you at our remote broadcasts, and we hope you'll continue to stop by and say hello. It's been a great ride, and we hope to bring you more fun and adventure right here on the InWheelTime Car Talk Show. All right, thank you very
I don't know
much.
what he's
And
doing.
let's see. I did want to remind you that our last stop on the InWheelTime Spring Tour happens June 12th up in Granbury, Texas, south of Fort Worth. The Lone Star Street Rod Association State Run. That live broadcast will air at a special time, 9 to noon that Saturday morning. We hope you'll join us then. Time now for the Motor Minute here on
Motor
InWheelTime.
Minute. We haven't talked about F1 Cadillac lately or the Andretti family, but the Miami Grand Prix coming up, I believe, next weekend will have the debut of the Formula One Cadillac race car. They're going to debut it. It's going to be a static. Obviously, it's not racing until 2026, but it will be there.
I wonder if it runs.
I'm sure it does. The Formula One team, the final approval and everything, that's moving forward. The journey of Cadillac to Formula One has been an interesting one, and the Andretti Formula Racing team has been all outgoing. They've got 4 drivers that they're considering: Sergio Perez, Zihu Gagno, Valtteri Bottas, Zihu Gagno.
Zihu.
Let me try that.
Or is that Zhu?
No, Zihu.
It's spelled Z-H-O-U.
You just go sit over there. Colton Herta is the other one. And I want Colton Herta to take the wheel. There you go.
Yeah, well, that's a lot easier to pronounce.
Yeah, there you go. So that's a little bit going on in the Motor Minute for Formula One, the unveiling of the Cadillac race
That
car.
was too short. I wanted to.
It's a minute.
I know, but I wanted to jibe you a little bit. Let me
don't
see
be
that.
jiving,
Let
Zuhu
me see that
Ganyu.
thing. Sergio Perez, Zhu Guan Yu. It sounds.
No.
It sounds like some sort of disease.
Larry Jones, that's how they pronounce it.
Valtteri Bottas and Colton
That's what
Herta.
I said, Valtteri Bottas.
Bottas.
It's a medical term.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember you used to have somebody down at the medical clinic look at that for you. Remember?
I got an ointment on it.
Ointment. Time now for this hour's car review. I got to drive a 2025, not 24, but a 25 Lincoln Nautilus. This was assembled in Hangzhou,
What?
China.
No. No way.
Hangzhou,
No.
China.
Zhuhu.
Here, put your glasses on and you tell me. Hangzhou, China. Hangzhou.
It's even written in Chinese.
Right here.
Look at that.
Neil. Hangzhou, China.
Hangzhou.
It comes in these trim levels.
Turn it
The
upside down.
Premier, Reserve, and Black Label. I had the all-wheel drive Reserve 3. This is a mid-size SUV, seats 5, exterior changes from last model year. Well, this is the second generation. It was redesigned in 2024, so this one is pretty much brand stinking new. Exterior features, one of the best-looking rides in the market, in my opinion. Symmetrical wheel openings with nice, elegant body sculpting. Beautiful rear lighting with a sunshade over the hatch glass. Sleek roof line. What I liked about it, the Black Label grille has a very elegant look. Looks like little dots up there in the grill area. They've just seen these little chrome dots.
Like little stars.
Yeah,
or-
they had really. I don't know what they did, but they did it right. It looks good. Absolutely nothing needs changing on this. It gets an A+ for attractiveness, in my opinion. If you're in the market for a midsize, this look good looking. Interior highlights. In the cabin, in the dash, a door-to-door changeable display. Seriously, all the way across, underneath the glass, it's all a display. It's stunning. Why didn't I think of that? And then, if you want to get into changing the stuff, there are changeable little pads on the steering wheel, or you can get into it by the center screen above the center stack.
Huh.
Mars, I hope you get the chance to drive this. I think
do
that
too.
you're going to agree with me that it is. You get in. Everybody that got in this car went, wow, look at that.
That's nice.
Adjustable seating with massage. Awesome quality materials throughout the cabin. Classy Lincoln grill for the standard folks like I had. Cargo trunk room, adequate, competitive, plentiful storage space back there. What I liked, it makes you want to put on an Armani suit with an open collared shirt and drive around with your chest hairs poking out.
That's too Miami Vice.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know, but don't I kind of fulfill that role, the Miami Vice role.
So the
you'd
vice
have to-
part, yes.
Yeah, so I could get a little hat, and I could be the
You need a
chauffeur.
hat anyway. Let's see. What could use improvement on the interior? Nothing. It's brilliant in design and execution. I'm telling you, man. Don't count America out when it comes to this sort of stuff. It may be built in Zhangzhou, China, but it is really a good-looking vehicle. 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 250 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. It's not a rocket ship, but it has plenty of power for us regular folks. Tow rating, 1750, so you can put your little jet ski back there with your open collared shirt. 21 miles per gallon city, 29 on the highway for combined to 24. I got 25.5 miles per gallon over 390.5 miles. What I liked about it, the smooth pull of that little four-banger engine. You can't tell that they're four-bangers anymore unless there's just the base, go-kart, lawnmower entry level, and this is not that. Nice power-to-weight ratio, handling, comfortable American-style luxury ride. It is sweet, baby.
I was in it. I liked it.
What could use improvement? Adjustable ride control, but why? Just let it do its American luxury by itself. It's fine. I had to come up with something. Pricing. Here we go. The base trim price on this is $61,000.
Okay.
Price is tested with $70,810. You can get in one of these for $51,790. Competitors, Mercedes-Benz GLC, $49,250. Genesis GV70, $46,200. Or the Acura RDX for $44,700. Those are the competitors. And that, my friends, is my review of this scrumptious 2025 Lincoln Nautilus.
Scrumptious.
I don't get too many Lincolns.
Scrumptious vehicles.
It is, and they don't have a lot of vehicles in the choices that you have. But I'll tell you what, that is one fine automobile. I think, anyway.
I like.
When's the last time you drove a Nautilus?
I was trying to. I don't know that I have ever. I've been in the Navigator, but I don't know about the Nautilus.
Well, they need to bring it over there to Neaterville and let you drive it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. If you'd like to get in touch with us, we invite you to shoot us an email. Our address here is info@InWheelTime.com. And we will return with the last half of our show after this quick break. We invite you to stay with us. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning InWheelTime Car Talk Show now reaches 5.3 million folks each year. Check us out on InWheelTime.com, the Odyssey radio app, YouTube, Facebook, and just about every other entertainment source out there, including our live broadcast every Saturday, 10 to noon Central Time. The InWheelTime Car Talk Show has informative automotive guest interviews, new car reviews, along with popular features including Jeff's Car Culture, the latest new cars, cruise-ins, and racing dates. It's InWheelTime.com. Join us.